And welcome to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network. I'm Steve Levine, Executive Publisher of Small Business Today Magazine.
I'm Barbara Davis-Levine, Associate Publisher, Creative Director, Head Writer, and Editor of Small Business Today Magazine.
Did you leave out any job titles?
Maybe,
Yeah, I think
tell.
so. Your curator, your hairstylist, your
Makeup
artist. I mean, she has such a multitude of talents and abilities.
Right. Yeah.
And you'll never know what she doesn't
Well, it
know.
all
But she'll
falls
never
under
tell
like
you.
creative director
That's right.
part.
And direct from a major hospital in the Houston Medical Center. She is back from her stint at didn't get a stint.
No, she didn't get a stint.
Methodist Hospital, as here he is from Ben Taub. Just a week ago they were there, and I was taking
And they
care of
took
them.
very good care of us too.
I was by their side every minute. Anyway, so.
I don't remember that.
Well, if you're not familiar with Small Business Today magazine, it's a publication for and about aspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners. And we believe that small business is the foundation of our nation's economy, with over 5 million of 6 million businesses in the U.S. qualifying as small business, 500 employees or less. And we believe that small businesses are the nation's largest taxpayer collectively, and also the nation's largest employer.
Right, and so we always have someone that's been nominated by our advisory board, that has somebody that gives back to the community. So it started with nothing and built something big. You can't be a victory if there hasn't been a battle. So once one of our members, advisory board members, nominates someone that's voted on, and if they're a cover honoree such as Evelyn Fletcher, then they're highlighted in the magazine, and I interview them, write their story. Every story ends with their best words of advice, the do's and don'ts of business. So let's say you don't want to read about where they grew up or what they did or how they got where they are, but you just want to read their words of wisdom. I say you can make a compendium or a Bible of business just by going to that last page and taking the information. And you can find that on our website. It's free online, sbtmagazine.net.
Or smallbusinesstodayMagazine.com.
That's right.
It's funny you held up Evelyn Fletcher.
Yes.
And she was a very emotional interview for you, wasn't
Wonderful. We really connected. I identified greatly with
it?
her.
2 boxes of Kleenex they went through within an hour and a half. I mean that, true. And she has become a very dear friend, as so many of these cover honorees. We have developed a very special friendship and a very influential friendship with. So they're all like our wall of fame for entrepreneurs. So, and we got the introduction to this guest with us, Zahara Rangwala with K Business Solutions, through Evelyn Fletcher, who dragged her over to me at an event to meet me, and dragged her. She had no choice, and she was kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
I said, you're gonna meet this guy and do anything he tells you to do, pretty much.
And we were so delighted to meet her.
Thank
Yeah.
you, and same pleasure as mine.
So anyway, we are here doing a remote broadcast at K Business Solutions, and who, by the way, we use for our web services because they're so incredible at what they do. Do you want to introduce Zahara? And she's not only a client, but she's also one of our ambassadors for our Meet and Mingle Mondays at Phil and Derek's.
Well, after interviewing her, I was really appreciate all that she's doing as a women business-owned company. She is just as energetic, enthusiastic, mother of 2 children, three, sorry. And it's just terrific how she's not just a typical, let's do IT or whatever. It's a whole business, total solutions. Everything is like a concierge service when it comes to your needs for your business. And everything, there's no cookie cutter. She doesn't do anything with a cookie cutter. It is all personalized and individualized. But what really impresses me is her enthusiasm. She's not been jaded by some people who've been around too long and not happy or excited, but she's very excited what she does, and you can tell in the quality of her work and just the enthusiasm that she does it.
Her services are truly customized to each individual client with their needs and specifically their goals and their budgets. And I really believe there's nobody that they can't work with and do a great job for.
Right.
So if your website's just laying there, as ours was,
Not getting
if
SEOs.
it's not being productive,
Yeah.
then decent, she don't have to say anything, we got no handle.
That's
Laura, tell us a
That is
little
awesome.
about
That is
your,
awesome.
your upbringing, and where did you grow up?
So I was born in Pakistan, in Karachi, one of a big city, and I came here as a teenager and did my associates. I was able to do that fairly quickly. In a year, I completed 2 years of education and started working with Halliburton. Also alongside, I was still working on my bachelor's, and then kind of had my boys. My boys were back to back, and finished my degree from University of Houston downtown after my 2 boys were already almost 2.5, and 3, and then kind of went and started the business.
How did you end up choosing Houston to come and go to school?
I have family that was in Houston, that had lived in Houston, and then our community support was a lot bigger in Houston, so that seemed to be the right choice. Also, on the side note, I'm a very big fan of hot weather. I really like the heat of Houston. I know I'm saying that. I'm not a fan of cold, so this kind of makes me
neither.
a perfect, and we are a perfect fit, Houston and me.
And your husband, when did you meet your husband?
So before I had come, we had been engaged, and he's a family friend and a second cousin in essence. And we were, and then I went back after I finished my associates, and then we got married, and then he came with me.
And he was excited about coming to Houston too, or was that a little?
Initially, because he was leaving his family behind, it was a bit of a challenge, but I feel like he overcame it because we had a lot of family, and because all my family kind of became his family.
Wonderful.
When did you decide you wanted your own business?
So always when I was working with Halliburton, my boss used to be my teachers. They all had this similar idea that you're very entrepreneurial, you're very motivational, so you're gonna be very good whenever you decide to do something on your own rather than working for
So
someone.
they recognize those qualities.
They recognize it, right. That's
It was a
exactly
huge leap of faith to go from employment to starting your own business. Did you have fears?
I remember the first year when we were at our accountants, and he's like, well, you're gonna be starting your own business, and I see your salaries, and I feel like you're gonna be missing on this piece. And I told her, well, that's right, but family is more important. And this was primarily being done because I saw so much opportunity in working from home and raising my boys, and I didn't have to do that. There was no other business that provided this opportunity.
I usually ask this at the end, but I'm gonna ask this up front. What are you glad you knew before you started your business?
I'm gonna say that I believed in myself, and I had a lot of support that I knew when I started and got into the business, because I had support from my husband, I had support from my parents. My mom still today, right now, is watching my daughter while I'm here. So, because she was sick today. But what I really felt is I have the support. Like, I would make cold calls, and sometimes that wouldn't result in anything. But when my husband Amir would be back, he'd be like, "That's okay. We'll try again tomorrow." And that support and that motivation, that care, just kept it all going. So I felt like that was my motivator.
So it was nice to have a husband who was a cheerleader.
Yes, absolutely.
That's-
It wouldn't have been without him that we were here.
What, in Karachi, did they speak both English and your?
Yes. We go to we have schools that are primarily English speaking, that are run by a church type of setting, where there is a pastor, there's a church kind of attached to the school, and the teachers also have a lot of, they are Christian primarily, so there's a lot. And so I went to one of those schools, and so yes, the languages were available to me at a young age.
So you didn't have any difficulty coming here and then learning the terminologies and stuff out?
I believe the terminology, because we were trained to speak British versus American, and the accent was a bit of a challenge, and it took a little bit, but I feel like from a language standpoint, I am a fast learner, so I try to just kind of grasp on.
How did you learn? Running a business is a whole nother ballroom. It's one thing to understand your profession, your trade, but then to be responsible for a business plan, responsible, eventually hiring people. What did you do to help to educate yourself in doing better?
So I have been attending, I feel like I'm a big supporter of networking and going out and mingling and learning from people and talking to them. And I'm passionate about whenever we work with clients in different industries, different areas, and I feel they have a lot to share. Also, education is something that every business owner should just keep. There's so many opportunities available. Even to this date, I'm applying for the Goldman Sachs 10K program. I'm planning to do that in fall. And then I also just got qualified to do the business plan competition with HCC. So those are some of the things that keep on, learning, and that has been the setting stone. And then just, getting a lot of support from.
Was the Goldman Sachs, was that part of your goals before you came to the event, or after, or that just solidified it?
So before I came to the event, I had known about Goldman Sachs, but when I came to the event at Small Business Today, it was such a good conversation that I had with Ms. Kim, and she encouraged me that despite the fact that I had a few gaps in the requirements and eligibility process, I could still apply, and I did apply, and they qualified me, and I'm on round 2 now.
That's wonderful, because I thought beforehand you thought you couldn't
That's
qualify,
right.
and I got you to the right person
That's
there.
right, absolutely.
And speaking of events, that was the event that you came to first as a guest, and then became one of the inner circle, the ambassador greeters to the Meet and Mingle Mondays at Phil and
The
Derek's.
first Monday of every month.
That's right.
And the difference of that networking event, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that we literally make introductions for you. It's very intimidating
Hands-on.
to walk into a networking event and you don't know anybody, there's pods of people, they're talking amongst each other. How do I break into a conversation? How do I introduce myself? How do I pitch my product or service? And we literally have 7, I think 8 now, Goodwill ambassadors who meet and greet people at the door, and Zahara is one of those, most recently.
But I still help her too, if she wants me.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Because
So-
she's a little
so
bit
we're
shy.
helping,
I am
we're helping the
introvert.
ambassadors. We
Yeah.
find out what you do and make a proper introduction for you. And also on hand is a organization who empowers small business owners like HCC, Goldman Sachs, and like
Women Business Enterprise Alliance,
And
Houston
next
Miners.
Monday, March 4th, we have a
Women's
Women's
Center.
Business Center, right? And then we also introduce you to a nonprofit.
Because every small business owner should be supporting a nonprofit. They should be giving back to the community. And we believe that instead of supporting a company that's a nonprofit that has nationwide funding, why not help your local small nonprofit?
That's right.
And for this next one, we have my friend that's Gloria Husel, that has an animal refuge. She has sanctuary, over 187 animals. And so she has very little fundraising support to take care of all of these abused animals. Some have, their legs were cut by machetes. She's written books. Her sanctuary's Paws, Hooves and Claws. And she's written books and to help support it, and she's gonna be our guest.
We ask no money of these sponsors. They are in the spotlight because we chose them and we believe they're right for small business to start a relationship with. And the first time I walked in to Zahara's office, I was overwhelmed by their philanthropy. I mean, you wanna talk about being philanthropy being the one leg of a 3-legged stool. I mean, they figured it out a long time ago.
Let her talk about what y'all
Let's do
do.
that, yes.
So when we started our business 13 years ago almost, we were always the idea, and even when I was back in Pakistan, always my parents, my mom specifically, would train us that every time you earn anything, you want to at least give back 10% of that, and just set it aside so you have money available for anyone that needs it. And so when we started our business, Amir and I were both very much passionate about doing something, and so it was Amir's idea, where he said all the hosting, whenever you go, you want to get a website set up, you have to have a domain name, hosting, emails, security. There's a lot of things that go in the website, and that's all purchased through the World Wide Web, and you could use any provider to do that. But if they do purchase those services through Hosting 110, what we do is 100% of that is given back to the community in multiple ways. And what we really try to do is we have partnered with Operation Blessings for about different water wells, clean water projects, and they pick out the areas that need the most, whereas the biggest need for clean water, and they go out there, they educate them, and they build water wells there. We have been able to do 6 in different countries, and it's around the world, and it's very complete. We feel like they send us the pictures, they invite us to visit those locations, so we feel like that is really, we're able to give back in a big way. Besides that, we also have scholarships, we have different other charities that we have been giving over years. So essentially everything that we make from Hosting 110, which anyone that purchases anything from Hosting 110 as part of their business practices, it doesn't matter if they use K-Business Services or someone else's, if they purchase those services from our site, they would be able to kind of share that blessing.
That's nice. And I find what's really great about, every generation has something that they're known for, and it's very nice to know that the millennial generation is about every company that they do business with, when they want to know if they're giving back. I like that, because I've always that I like to know that if I'm spending money with a company, that company is in turn giving back to the community in some way, whether it's through their own personal services or through monetary amounts. And so I think that the millennials are doing that same concept and making it part of their mission. I love that, and so it's such a rewarding thing to see more people caring about their community.
Thank you.
Now, what's the 110? Tell me, how does one go on this? Tell me about that.
Hosting 110 is a platform that we have. We are a reseller with GoDaddy, and we openly say that primarily because sometimes people feel like the trust has to be there. GoDaddy is all based in US, and they have their centers in Arizona primarily, and they have some backup in other states. And we are a reseller with them, so when people go online and they purchase domains and hostings and all of these things that they definitely need in order to put their site pages up, they will set up their own accounts, they own everything, and whoever could be then going in and creating their designs, their websites, their emails, setting up all of that. And if they do that with Hosting 110, they are able to, we're able to kind of take all those profits and give it back to the community.
Very nice. And you're based here in Houston.
Yes.
What's your goal? Is your goal ever to expand to other, or you think you can do it all in just one locale worldwide?
So we were, 2 weeks ago, we were attending an expo, a small business expo, and we were exhibiting there in Dallas. So that was one of the areas that we wanted to kind of venture out. But with web, it can just expand dramatically. So we are trying to make sure that it goes slowly, because we also call ourselves a boutique marketing agency, primarily because we try to build that one-on-one with people, understand what they really need, not just sell them packages. So we have packages, but we work around those in order to customize it to the best needs for each business.
Yeah, that's a boutique. I was saying concierge, which is basically the same idea.
That's right.
To nothing is cookie cutter
Nothing is
style.
cookie cutter, absolutely.
Everything
It's
is
custom design.
Yes. And a concierge gives the most attention
Absolutely.
to detail and care. And I think that the wow factor, and I think that's something after people dealing with you will see that enthusiasm, that desire to give more than the expected.
Right, absolutely. Going that extra mile to make sure that they are successful.
What services do you guys offer?
So I want to say for a startup that's looking to just they wanna get started, we will start them with the brand. So first and foremost, they need to set up their brand, their logo, their business card, their marketing. So we will basically help them every step of the way, getting their business online, setting them their marketing strategy, a website that's functional, that's got everything that they need at that instance, and then kind of grow with them as they need more services. So that's for a startup. If they are a kind of middle tier where they already have been established, we can assess their current situation and then go and fill in the gaps wherever they need. So if they need help with a redesign on their website, or if they need a component of a software that's not working. So we just had a client that was losing a lot of business because a competitor website, a website that was just kind of collecting leads and selling it to these businesses, was taking away his leads, was charging him. So we built him a software where he himself is now kind of collecting leads, and if he doesn't like it, then he's able to sell it to others. So it just assessing which business needs what. Sometimes they have some of their eggs in a row, their ducks in a row. Other times it's missing, so we kind of fill in those gaps.
And what makes you really unique over anybody else who says, oh, we design websites and we help you with social media? What really sets K Business Solutions apart from everybody else?
So that's two things that we do that really sets it apart. One, we're very custom, so we're not like we said, the cookie cutter. And two, we offer exclusivity. So if they are ready to work with us for a term, then we are not going to work with their competition. And that's a kind of guarantee that no other business, especially most businesses, what they do is they sign up with one of that type and then try approaching all the competitions and showing the results that they've attained on that one. So that loyalty is not there.
Barbara, we have been through a number of webmasters with Small Business Today magazine since 2012. And all we've ever used it for was to hang our digital back issues, promote editorial, and then a couple of events. And I came to Zahara and I said, it's just not bringing revenue in. And there was a huge flaw, is that we had this huge banner, this slide program up top, and it was only promoting editorial, which we don't get paid for. And she said, no, you need to use that, that's big, use it to promote your company, use it to make money,
It's a
sell it.
billboard, it's a billboard.
It was like, duh, hello, why didn't I think of that? I don't know. And other things to help us directly tie, we now have the, not only the events like Meet and Mingle Mondays, this coming Monday, March 4th, 5:30,
So
Phil Derrick's,
calendar.
but the Lunch and Learn on the 7th, and you now can click on that and RSVP.
Wonderful.
We never been able to do that, it's just kinda,
Yeah,
hope
just-
they'll read it and then call us. So there's been a number of changes that K Business Solutions has done for us. It's gonna make it a lot more powerful website. But it's still all about subscriber bases and clients and that sort of thing.
Learning how to monetize.
Now, you called yourself transparent. What does that mean?
So the second item that we call ourselves different and exclusive or unique identifier is we have a one retainer fee structure. So we will charge you, we will try and become kind of like a part of your team, so you don't have to hire someone to do those jobs, because it's a job of multiple people. It's a content writer, it's a designer, it's a developer, it's a social media marketer. So there's so many different things that your business needs, and if you try to find someone that does everything, it's gonna be fairly expensive. So we try to fill in that, and we go ahead and we charge a one retainer fee, and then all the other services, we're an agency set up with other paid advertising, say Google AdWords, say Facebook paid ads. We are an agency set up with those entities, and we're able to put your own credit card directly. So we manage the campaigns for you with that retainer, but you know exactly what you're paying.
And you're not paying extra fees to use those services.
Or most companies, what they do, they say charge $2,000, but they're only paying $200 to Google and $1,800 for themselves, versus this is a clear, transparent image. You know exactly how much Google is charging for the ads, and how much any other agency is charging for the ads.
But
What,
not-
what,
Go ahead.
what advice for working mothers that wanna start their own business? Can you give them any advice? 'Cause you
Yeah, I was
said-
gonna ask that, but you jumped right in there, you know, she does that from time to time, she'll, you know, jump right in there, and I was gonna ask, go ahead, good question.
So the first thing that I really feel like moms, I think being patient, because that's like it's like much harder than motherhood in some essences. I mean, if you're a mother and you're doing that, that's awesome, that's great, but that's where you learn and then you kind of apply the same, because you have to be, you don't eat the fruit the same day that you sow. So you have to make sure that you give it enough time and effort, and the second thing is give it your 100%, because sometimes when people don't see immediate results, they kind of recede back. But if you keep pushing it forward, the one thing that is going to come out of it is no regrets, and then second, it's either going to be successful or you will find out that you got more than what you expected. So God had different plans for you, and again, the plans are always awesome. So those are some of the main advices that I'll give to a new mom or a mother that's trying to get started.
Both my children grew up in the different businesses I did. And people would be quite surprised because, again, this is the late 70s and early 80s. And people were surprised to see a little baby in a walker going around the room.
That's right.
And I think now, do you think it's become more commonplace to bring your children to work if you ever, or
So-
work at home?
In 2007, we had a twin stroller, and we would put both my boys, and Amir would most of the time come with me. He would be kind of like that support system that we needed, and I would be presenting to them. I would be, and then sometimes the clients even commented to the boys that, you guys, you have been so awesome, because we've been talking for 2 hours, and they would be, and at those days, they didn't have phones, so they would be reading, or they would be playing with a toy, or watching TV if the clients had TV in their offices. So I totally relate to that, and I feel like with video conferencing, Zoom conferencing, there's so many online softwares, it's much easier for people to now work remotely without
Right.
being there, because I do that. So many times I will tell, I do have people that are here to help now, but even when it wasn't, I was able to kind of be in. Yesterday, I was we had our payroll, and we had the payroll person here, and I was video conferencing and recording everything, so that way I could still be part of it.
That's wonderful because, of course, in the 70s, that didn't exist. And, I remember it was a travel agency I had been working for and left after I had the baby. And he called me up one day, and the baby was like a month old. And he said, I need you to come back. I've got to go to China. I've got to be gone for 3 months. I said, well, I'm breastfeeding.
And your own mother, she.
Which one was
She had
that?
a certain,
You.
a non-negotiable, you remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my mother, in fact, worked in a male-dominated business. They could get her for less, but she told them, she called her shots. She said, if my daughter calls me 100 times a day, hire me knowing that, and I'm homeroom mother. If she volunteers me to take the class to a field trip, a fire department, I'm going. I won't be there at 8 in the morning. I'll be there at 9 because I make sure she gets to school.
Yeah.
And so she called her shots, even working for someone else.
And you have to, family time, you only get so many years with raising a child, it's gotta be non-negotiable,
That's right.
right?
Right.
Because you've got a bigger responsibility to your family, and your business is yet another child, but these are living.
But I think children appreciate what their parents are doing when they're
Yeah.
there, seeing what they're doing. They get to, a lot of them just want to say, I want that, mommy, I want that, mommy. But if they see, well, I have to make money for that, they appreciate maybe the dollar more, I think.
Absolutely.
When they see the work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
My kids, I think the whole entrepreneurial spirit where, they're selling the coffee is, I feel like they get it from me, because as soon as my son said I wanted to go ahead and do that, I was like, okay, sure, we'll support you. We started working with him, considering his ideas on how he wanted to take it forward. We had a marketing plan in action. We had the website up in about a month or less. So I feel like they were able to do that primarily because of the entrepreneurial spirits that
Now,
they
how old is your son that wanted his?
So he started when he was 15, and now he's 16, and the younger one was 13 at that time. So it's
And
been
what coffee are they selling?
They're selling coffee from Yemen, the mountains of Yemen. So my son went to Egypt last year and met farmers from Yemen, and they were able to. He left his luggage and brought 360 bags with him.
Uh-huh.
And he said, Mom, Dad, if it's okay, I would like to try it because I feel like these farmers need a way out because their coffee is not selling. So we want to make sure that they remove all of the narcotic drug and start growing more coffee.
That's a
And
great idea.
it really worked. I mean, we were able to sell almost all of the bags.
Are y'all roasting the coffee here?
So we have a whole lot that we ordered, like almost a ton of coffee that is green beans, and that is mostly being sold to roasters. My son has been calling the roasters in Houston,
You've
and
got to include Peyton's Blend, have you?
yes.
Absolutely.
There's gonna be a meetup of the youth entrepreneurs
Yes.
this coming Monday
Because
night.
Peyton's Blend is run now by an 8-year-old. You
That's
realize
right.
that?
Yes.
He's taking over the role that the deceased father, and it was his own desire to help his mother after his father died.
We
And
love youth entrepreneurs.
yeah, so
We
I
do.
think it'd be what a great marriage to have y'all tied in with Peyton's Blend Coffee.
Absolutely. We definitely will talk to him on Monday because the boys are going to be there to the meet
At our
and
meet
mingle.
and mingle
Yes,
Monday.
Yes. they
Phil
will.
and Derek's
Yeah.
at 5:30.
Yeah, and that's, I wanna talk about it a bit real quick, and then I wanna come back and ask about the role of social media in marketing a small business. And, cause it's just, to be overwhelming, all different sites out there, what's the value of Facebook, and what's the value of LinkedIn and Twitter, and, it's just overwhelming to me. So, where was, the event, Meet and Mingle Mondays, is something we do
1701 Webster
at Phil
In
and Derek's
Houston?
Restaurant,
Yeah.
1701 Webster.
Street.
5:30 to 7:30 p.m. The difference in the networking, of course, is that we make the introductions for you.
And we're not charging admission.
Not charge admission, and we put out some food, goes like that. There's a cash bar, and if we're gonna introduce you to other entrepreneurs that you need to do business with. they can
Especially
visit you.
K-Biz
And
Solutions.
K-Biz, first time in, she got some introductions. I think every time you've been there, you've met somebody.
Absolutely.
There you go. Say hallelujah, yes indeed. Zahara is a living, breathing testimonial for what we do, and became a profile client, where we're doing the radio show with her and a feature article on them.
Right.
And going to be doing more promotions, so we're supporting each other, right? So,
Well, and I said I do enjoy, the most thing is the enthusiasm. It really delights me to see somebody that's so happy with what they're doing and excited to meeting people, and the fact that I can help it makes me feel so great.
Well, thank
every
you.
time I tell Evelyn Flesher what we're doing with Zahara and K Business Solutions, you made me feel so good. That makes my heart so warm and just amazed. And they're gonna be sitting together at our event March 23rd at the Night of Superstars.
Right.
Oh,
and that's-
nice, okay.
Yeah. I
She
don't know,
has
she's not bringing her husband, 'cause he's not.
if you need electronic assembly services, that's Evelyn Fletcher.
That is.
That's right. So tell me about the world of social media. How does that play out for small business owners, and what's the advantage of each one, just in a nutshell?
Each business is different, so each business would need to kind of analyze and see what social media would be best for them to use. However, I feel like doing at least a little bit on social media is definitely a prereq, and that's the easiest part that doesn't cost too much. Now, where we come in is when people get stranded with time, they're strapped with time, they don't have so much available, and so that's when they need help. And we go ahead and we do graphical postings of most of their strengths and their abilities, their client testimonials. So that is something that I would say, do not disregard the power of social media. It's just big and it can really get results faster. And so at least do some postings and just decide and see which is going to be the best best channel for your business?
My weakest area is social media. You know, we're Facebook freaks. I don't know how many pages we've got, but least is Twitter. I just
You don't know how to tweet.
Wait. If I had a campaign and somebody do it, to just take a tweet a day of one of the takeaway notes from one of the cover stories, and then give them credit. Got the one that said even the worst idea executed is far better than the
Jerry Brower. Rest in peace.
than the idea you only think about or talk about or meet about. In other words, just do it. If I had somebody to tweet a different idea a day and tie it back to the website for more great information, this is something I don't have time for. I can list all of them.
Absolutely.
One idea and say, wow, that really is a good idea. You know, we got a lot from Maria Rio straight up. Be best friends with your banker. And be best friends with your attorney and maintain good credit. So we got so many great pieces of information, some of them are redundant, but that's just the way they are.
That's what a clue looks like. If you keep seeing the same
That's what
thing
you always say. You always
hammered
say
in,
that,
then you
Barbara.
wanna keep saying, oh, then we better do it. If every cover honoree keeps repeating the same thing, there must be some
Something
reason
to
that you
it,
better
right.
do it. You
That's
better do
right,
it.
That's right.
And that's right, they're all successful business people, or they wouldn't be on the cover, but their success is not relevant to the qualifications to be on the cover of the magazine. And it's more about philanthropy and having an inspiring story and being a role model for this and future generations of entrepreneurs.
That's right.
So and you have to be nominated and voted on just to get on the cover of the magazine. So, and we don't charge for the magazine, but we charge for the marketing pieces that come along with it. So, so how do you know what works for each client in this wide world of social media? What do you recommend?
So what we do is we kind of, with each client that comes on board, we assess some of their industry, and based on that and some of their immediate competition, some of their industry standards, and we go from there in terms of analyzing a quarterly strategy. So it's a Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and it is constantly modified. And that's why we kind of going back to that boutique style where you're kind of making sure we're altering to where, because the evolving world of social media and search engine, we have to keep up and tweak and modify in order to really see the results. So it's very specific to each market, which industry will gain, but yes, constantly tweaking, making sure this yields the most return on investment.
Something I want to say is so many people that go into business, and I was guilty of it. I had years ago, I had a printing company. I used to design logos and illustrate brochures. I was used to design the business cards and the letter and all this stuff. Then I opened my travel agency. And so then I was trying to do, and my late husband said, value your time. Delegate. It's so hard because, I can do all these things, but especially when it comes to the IT and the social media, what is your business? If your business is waste management, like Maria Rios, should you be spending time designing your net? No, you want to delegate to somebody that has the expertise, and that's what their focus is on.
Yes, absolutely. And most small businesses do that. They do not want to hire the
Right.
experts. They feel like this is something that I can just save up on, and that's one of the advices that I wish I could give to every small business out there. They do not want to allocate any budget for marketing, but I feel like a marketing budget, even for a startup, is very, very important.
It's important. You cannot, it's Kim Roxy was,
Lamique.
comes to mind, Lamique Makeup. And she had saved up her money from eating just Wendy's meals to do.
99-cent Wendy burger. and
Wendy
she's a
meals.
vegetarian.
Okay, and so she became one afterwards, but she would save up all that money so that she could, to create her product line of makeup, of healthy makeup, and she got the storefront, but she didn't have the customers. Again, how do you go and get those customers? You have to think about that. You can have all the product, you can have all the services, you could have the location, but if you're not getting the word out, it is for naught. And so that's when the reality hitter asked that. How am I going to let people know I'm here at the very end of Sharpstown Mall where nobody's around? And so,
The anchor store was closed, so nobody
Yeah.
came down that way, and they stuck her there because they didn't want her in the first place.
they
turned
thought she
down
was too
3
young
times.
and,
But
but,
she came to the realization, even if there's no customers in the mall, there's lots of people who work here. So
Yeah.
she closed her door, and she would go store to store to store, and all the employees, a lot of the other stores became her clients.
yeah, but that's very hard to do, and
I
your
know.
time is worth money, so that's why now she should be using KBIS Solutions.
That's right. We're not gonna make that recommendation, but
That's right.
she's awesome in her own right, so.
Absolutely.
And a Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business
Cohort.
cohort.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a little groups that own cohorts, so, anyway.
And
but-
you'll be getting a lot from that too, that is such a,
That's right, that's right.
So
That's
is
awesome.
all social media applicable to all businesses? In other words, if I owned a storefront, do I need to tweet?
No, that's exactly right. It is selected, so you wanna, that's why you wanna hire someone that is an expert. If you're looking for a job, you don't wanna be looking for it on Facebook or Twitter. You wanna go to LinkedIn.
Right.
So there is differences in all these social media channels, and you wanna use it wisely to get the maximum return on investment.
And
What-
Instagram, huh?
I was just gonna say, what about Instagram?
Go ahead, you ask.
Oh, yeah, Instagram, that's
TikTok.
another one. What, Jerry?
TikTok. It's the new fad one.
Yeah, what about TikTok?
What?
So there is so many, I'm so, like I said, it's so many different ones out there that without doing a thorough understanding of your industry, it's just going to be, just kind of throwing your money out. So it's a good idea to just kind of assess and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, there are just so many. And like if you're a company that's having an event, aren't there some things that are good to promote at that event that's getting people to know what's going on? Which one people are now, what's the one to use?
They use Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And also there is multiple other avenues where events could be posted, especially like chamber websites, and there's newspapers that provide free advertisements. So again, that's going to be something that we will sit down with them and analyze and then kind of assess where they need to be. So you know how they say it's considered that the best product would sell, but it's not the best product that sells. It's actually the best marketed product that sells.
Right.
So that's the idea here, is making sure that you have the right team on your side and
Marketed
right,
product
honest.
or service?
Yes, marketed product or service.
So not everything is applicable to everybody. You literally customize the package around
Absolutely.
their needs and where their consumers are.
Right,
You
exactly.
can develop some, I love Facebook, but if your consumers aren't there, then you're wasting your time. And just because you have a personal page doesn't mean that's all you need for a business page.
Absolutely.
And I think you need personal and refer people over your business, but that's just me. What else we want to ask about?
Well, how many are on your staff at present?
So we are a team of 17, and we kind of, before our offices were a little bit small, so we were kind of working off-site, and now we've expanded, so we're excited, and we're kind of moving and settling everyone in here. But yeah, that's,
It's a very nice office space, it is. And looks like great staff. Is there any success story, somebody that you really, that you don't have to give their name, but a client that you really are very proud of how you took them and took them to the next level?
yeah, there is one that is, so the client actually approached first, and I was pregnant with my daughter about 7.5 years ago, and the next day was when the doctor had given me the appointment. They're like, okay, well, if the baby doesn't come by tomorrow, we're gonna induce you. And they called and they said that they needed some marketing material just designed at that time, and I said, well, I'm gonna have a baby, but I really wanna make sure that I will be the one that's handling this project. So can you wait a week? And they said, okay, fine, we'll wait just 1 week if you're not able to do it within that time frame. So I remember I brought my baby home, in 2 days, and I started working on it. And my mom and Amir and everyone was like, no, this is the time. And I remember because I would nurse her and then give it to my mom and then, or Amir, and then we'd be back working on that. And that client stayed with us and is still a client with us. We did in 6 figures. We did work in 6 figures for them over time, for different software. And that was like one of the biggest softwares that we produced. So I feel like that was a big success story. That was kind of like, in those wee hours that we picked them and delivered, and they were so happy that it kind of stayed through.
That's wonderful.
Somebody once said, I know what it was, treat your staff the way you would treat your clients.
That's right.
Do you?
Yes, we have most of the
Carol Allen
companies.
said that.
Most of the companies, they have a very different policy with their 1099s. We have a very different aspect because all the holidays, all the government holidays, we have that paid. Most companies only are off 1 day for Christmas. We're off 24th and 25th. We're off 31st, and we're off 2 days of Thanksgiving. So we're very different. We don't want to hire. Whenever we hire someone, we always tell them, we're almost going to be working a little bit harder because we want to make sure your job is not something temporary. You grow with KBIS and you stay long term. You may have to handle situations a little bit because we don't want to hire an assistant for you. So if you do your job a little bit more well, then we don't have to, and then we can just kind of keep growing and not let anyone go.
By the way, Barbara, this is a first, because we've never done a Facebook Live show.
Oh, that's
right, we do an audio link, which we'll put out there, and we do a YouTube video when Jerry gets to have that done. But this is the first Facebook Live show, no people watching it. Right? But this is a first for us, social media wise, and also promotion of the radio show, which we used to do every other.
Faces up.
We used to do it like every day, and then we used to do it every other day, and now we do it when we feel like it. And
Well, it's
especially,
because we had some issues like flooding 4 times and.
that's right,
Oh, wow.
various heart attacks and
Yeah,
stuff,
a couple heart
but we're
attacks.
back, yeah, anyway,
That's the
back and
goal.
solid,
Brown recluse spider bite, but we're here.
that's right. What are some of your words of advice for a startup entrepreneur?
So the main item that I really would like them is the consistent part, but also having a marketing budget, because a startup entrepreneur, as soon as they kind of get on, there's so much out there. There are freelancers that are websites that would sell them really cheap, but you get what you pay for kind of theory, and I feel like that's something that you don't want. You or your website, your online presence is what's selling your services when you're not there in person. And I am a big supporter of them in networking and kind of being there in person, but that's just not possible. So your website, your online presence is so important, and people make decisions based on how well you treat them. So I feel as an entrepreneur, as a startup, as a mid-size, look at that. Don't just ignore that because that's a huge revenue. That's a lot of money you're leaving on the table.
Yeah, well, exactly. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. And people they say don't judge a book by its cover, but people do. It really is.
You revisit your own website from time to time.
And see if you like how it looks, if it's appealing, so. And if it looks fresh, if things keep changing, technology, how do you stay on top of technology changing?
We do a lot of coaching and training when it comes to newer products, attending seminars, attending workshops, making sure that anything that's going to be more beneficial to our business, webinars, online webinars, having all that makes it, we are Google certified, so that, training comes part of that. It's a certification that you renew every year, We're an advert certified partner with them. We're an agency within Facebook. The training comes along with that as well. Some of these, YouTube has certain training programs and certain videos that you're able to watch and kind of keep up. So there's a lot of available information, and you just use it wisely and then train the staff and team with it.
You know, when we talked about marketing, it's not just for startups. You have to maintain a marketing budget forever. I remember the classic story of Mr. Wrigley, of Wrigley's Chewing Gum, was on a plane with a young reporter, and his own plane, and the reporter asked Mr. Wrigley, you know, you're already #1 chewing gum manufacturer in the world, why do you continue to advertise the gum? And he said, young man, do you know how fast we're flying? And the young man said, no, I don't. And he asked the pilot, and the pilot told him, he said, you know what happened if I asked the pilot to shut down one engine? Just one. Phew, we'd plummet. He said, the reason we're #1 is because of our advertising, and you always have somebody competing with you that wants you to fall back somehow. So if you are going to maintain being competitive and your #1 status, it takes marketing to do that. And now it's all electronic. It used to be all media and print and
TV commercials.
broadcast, right. But now you gotta have that presence in social media, you gotta have that presence on your website, and just making contact. It's nothing like getting out there and sticking your hand out and ask people what they do. It's a networking event. That's why what we really believe is the contacts and the introductions and using your sphere of influence, you know, and having, for us, it's about having an advisory board to help us, you know,
Help
answer.
the other.
And I want to bring up the networking events again, just for those remaining moments we have. This coming Monday, March the 4th, at Phil and Derek's Restaurant in the adjacent lounge at 5:30 p.m.
1701 Webster
Webster
Street
Street.
in Midtown.
Only small business owners. If you're the president of ExxonMobil, we don't want you.
We like you, but we don't want
That's
you
right,
at our
it's
event,
only
though.
for
We
business
just want
owners, not marketing, not salespeople, it's only for small business, and we will make connections for you through 8 Goodwill Ambassador connectors. That includes Zahara,
That's
right? And we'll put out some eats, there'll be a cash bar, that's just one event next week, and then Thursday, by the way, you can go to our website and you can RSVP, save a place at sbtmagazine.net.
Or smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com.
And Thursday, we have a lunch and learn at the Wyndham Energy Corridor, Highway 6, just north of Interstate 10. And KBiz Solutions is our sponsor.
It's only $15,
$16.
for the,
We
everything, tip
should
and
go up
everything.
at the tax, tip, the speaker, and we've got the amazing Howard Partridge with
Oh,
phenomenal products. That's
products.
gonna be our speaker. And he was the first Zig Ziglar certified trainer and coach. And the management kid, John Maxwell, the first one for him. He puts on huge conferences,
And this
and
is,
he's gonna tell you how not to be a slave to your business. And he will be our lunch and learn speaker. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna fill up. That's Thursday, March the 7th, 11:30 at the Wyndham Energy Corridor, right?
right.
And
And
you
if they
want
want to RSVP, they go to our website.
our website for the first time ever, thanks to K-Business Solutions. Hooray! Indeed.
And how do people find out how to get in touch with KB?
Yeah, you have
Solutions?
you have a website, don't you?
Yes, yes. Our website is kbizsolutions.com, and we are located on Jones, closer to 1960, Jones and Cypress North, Houston. We're in that Wells Fargo parking lot, but we're kind of sticking behind, so if you are not able to find us, 12345, that's the address. It's 12345 Jones
Jones
Road.
It's Suite
And
246,
it's
all very numerical, Jerry noted.
It's very, very numerical, and sometimes when I ask people, like when we're taking quotes and we put in that address, they feel like it's a spam quote, because 12345 is not really an address, so.
But you can help people no matter where they're located. It doesn't have to be in
And it
Houston.
is it KBIZZ?
VIZZ, two Z's.
Yes, KBIZZ
Uh-huh.
Solutions.com.
Absolutely, yes, KBIZZsolutions.com.
And the best email address?
Sales@kbizsolutions.com.
Which is KIB,
ZZ
KBIZZ
Solutions.
Solutions.com. It's kind of a tongue tie.
Yes, the two
tongue-tied,
Z's. When we started, the one Z was taken, and it was taken literally about 10 miles from us in Katy.
Oh, no.
So we actually just got the Z, and then they shut down, so we also were able to get the one Z.
Excellent.
It's all good. We got 1 minute, Barbara, but we want to tell you, if you want a subscription to Small Business Today magazine, you can also go to the website, sbtmagazine.net.
Or smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com.
All of our magazines are archived there on the website. Go back and review not only the cover story and be motivated, but also words of advice on each one.
And like us on Facebook for Small Business Today magazine. And you'll again see the different events and the photos of the great networking events we do and great people like Zahara
Zahara.
down there. And she's very young and photogenic, so well, we like to put her
She is
picture-
photogenic,
Yeah,
isn't
she's
she?
very pretty.
She looks good on radio. No, I mean,
You
know,
look good on
video,
radio, never
yeah.
mind. You look good on radio,
Thank
that's
you.
it.
I don't know what that little box means, but I think we're out of time. But anyway, you have been listening to Small Business Today Magazine Talk Show on the SBT Magazine Radio Network.